After I named her one of the worst parents in my £600 life due to allowing her 5-year-old son to become her carer, I decided to dig deeper into Ashley D's life and found although she was eating herself to an early grave and almost ruined her son's life, surprisingly, her story does have a happy ending. However, as the saying goes, you have to have some rain to see a rainbow, and that perfectly sums up Ashley D's life. Ashley Dunn Bratcher is a 27-year-old mother and weighs in at £672. Her life is a constant struggle as her excess weight hangs from her body, making it extremely difficult to move around. She's only able to stand for a maximum of 5 minutes, making completing any tasks around the house near impossible. And we're about to delve into the disgusting measures she takes into making sure they're done. In comparison to other stars on the show, Ashley is definitely one of the heaviest. This means that the normal tasks that people of a healthy weight complete daily without even thinking about, such as doing the laundry, washing up and making meals, is totally off the cards for Ashley. With her husband working away and strapped for cash, Ashley takes a disturbing route to get help, involving her tiny 5-year-old son, Patrick.
And most of that falls on my 5-year-old son, Patrick. My son helps me with everything. He's my legs in a lot of things. Basically everything that involves standing and walking around a lot, Patrick does for me.
Ashley's straight up child abuse and neglect of her son is criminal, making it near impossible to feel sympathy for her food addiction.
Go get the blue bucket for Mama. We're gonna do some laundry real quick. He has to help me with just about every household chore. Without him, I'd be lost because I just can't do it on my own.
It's hard for her to walk, so I do the stuff that she wants me to do every day.
The image of Patrick climbing on top of the washing machine to turn it on is genuinely heartbreaking, as he isn't even tall enough to reach the buttons yet. Now, surely this should be a wake-up call for Ashley, that her son is too young to have such a huge workload, but she doesn't even really seem to care. One YouTube commenter said, "Patrick is so helpful, but I'm really afraid that when he grows up, he'll be really easily manipulated since he does everything for his mom, and he'll think that this is the norm." Now, like I said earlier, Patrick is only 5 years old, extremely impressionable and still learning about the world around him. If this is the norm for him now, it's likely that it will severely affect his development. Children should be messing up the house by playing and having fun, not tidying up after their parent. And while it's important for kids to have some sense of being able to put their toys away and maybe even putting their dirty clothes in the wash basket, this level of responsibility that Patrick has is severe.
Yep, there's one.
Will you put him in the dryer, pretty please?
Mm-hmm.
Patrick is too young to be doing the stuff that he does. I should do everything for him.
He's so small that he has to literally climb inside the washing machine to pull the clothes out because his arms aren't long enough. This is so dangerous as he could easily hurt himself or even electrocute himself through absolutely no fault of his own. It's devastating to watch Patrick do all of this work with a smile on his face while Ashley watches from the comfort of the sofa, and it's hard to sympathize with her as she says that she hates having to watch Patrick do all this work but hasn't made any changes and has allowed him to do it. It's not just the laundry that Patrick takes responsibility for, as he does the majority of the cooking and the cleaning around the house too. Now, before I saw this episode, the thought of a 5-year-old making a meal was unimaginable. And to be honest, the only cooking a 5-year-old should be doing is mixing cake batter with the parent, not preparing family meals for both himself and Ashley.
Pat, you wanna go get the hot dogs and the bread for Mama? It makes me feel guilty because he's 5. He should be playing with toys and watching TV. I should be taking care of him.
3, 0, 0.
Start. But he has to help me because my husband is a truck driver and he's gone probably 70 to 100 hours a week. Eat breakfast. So our food is mostly what Pat can microwave or carry in here for me to prepare.
Seeing Patrick make food in the microwave so happily is honestly really sad, as his innocence and kindness is completely being taken advantage of by Ashley. Not to mention just how dangerous it is that Patrick has to physically climb onto the countertop to get to the microwave, or how he's dealing with extremely hot plates and food without Ashley close by to help him. One of those plates could easily fall or burn him, and Ashley wouldn't really be able to do anything about it. Not only is this incredibly unsafe, but Patrick is learning these dangerous food habits from Ashley, Ashley. He isn't learning how to make a proper healthy filling meal, as instead he has to cook only what he can reach inside the fridge. This means that Patrick is likely going to grow up to be an adult with no knowledge of what's healthy or unhealthy, leading him down the same path as his mother. Now, if you're someone who wants to make healthy meals but don't know where to start, I'd highly recommend signing up to the Fat Loss Kitchen, which is my brand new newsletter with food directly inspired by the advice given by Dr. Now on My 600 Pound Life. All of the meals are calorie counted, they are high in protein and low calorie, and they are all extremely easy to make. We send a newsletter out every single Friday evening, so make sure you subscribe now for completely free to make sure you don't miss tonight's newsletter. Now, back to Ashley. She is devastated by her behaviour and what she's putting Patrick through, as she went through a similar experience in her own childhood. But it's hard to sympathise with her, as every single day when she forces Patrick to do these chores, she's choosing food over him.
I don't understand why I let myself get this way.
Ashley's childhood was very unstable, as her parents got a divorce when she was just 5 years old. And to make matters worse, Ashley and her siblings were neglected by their mother when they moved in with her, as she had a drug addiction that meant she was never really around, leaving the children home alone for long stretches of time. When Ashley's mother managed to find babysitters for the children, things took a turn for the worse, as the husband of one of the babysitters started abusing Ashley. As her mother was never around, she didn't care to notice how much Ashley was suffering because of this. As the older sibling, Ashley felt like it was her responsibility to deal with the abuse, believing that she was protecting her younger siblings by making sure the abuse never happened to them. Feeling like she had no one to turn to and nowhere to go, Ashley turned to food to cope. Years went by as her mother's drug addiction got worse and worse, as Ashley in turn developed her own addiction, but to food instead. Things got better for Ashley when her mother dropped her and her siblings off at her dad's house and disappeared from her life for over 13 years. But despite finding it much safer at her dad's house and feeling happier, Ashley was still deeply hurt by her mother abandoning her, and still turned to food for a sense of comfort. Now, her dad was always aware of this and was concerned that Ashley's attitude towards food was unhealthy from the start.
Ashley's eating habits were not like normal habits. She would eat enormous amounts of food, and she just got larger and larger.
I would sneak a lot of food. I remember getting up out of bed and going to the refrigerator.
Ashley was eating large amounts of food constantly. 3 meals a day simply wasn't enough for her, as she was constantly snacking and even waking up multiple times during the night just to eat. By the time she was 11 years old, she weighed over 250 pounds, almost 3 times heavier than what a healthy child should weigh. Ashley's dad felt guilty for how her childhood had been, so he did whatever he could to make her happy, even if that was through food. This meant that Ashley continued to pile on the weight, making her over 400 pounds by the time she'd finished high school. And since then, Ashley's bad habits had continued, as she's just continued to eat and eat. When Ashley does make food instead of having Patrick do it, you can see exactly how she got to this weight. The portion sizes are huge, and there's little to no nutrition in any of the meals she makes.
When you turn to food for everything, it's a very hard addiction to break. I don't eat that many times during the day, but when I do eat, I eat enough for 2 or 3 meals. My plate alone could probably feed a family of 4. But for that bit of time while I'm eating, it makes everything just disappear. It's like a calm that washes over me.
Hearing the way Ashley describes eating is surreal, as it gives her such a relief that normal people would never even consider. For me at least, food is just another part of life. I'll eat when I'm hungry and I'll stop when I'm full. It doesn't control my life, it's just a small part of it. But for Ashley, it's the complete opposite. Food is her entire life and everything else doesn't even come close.
To me, food is like sex. It makes me feel good, and once I start eating, it's very hard to stop.
As Ashley's habits have spiraled and her weight has dramatically increased, her mobility has decreased. Due to the strain on her joints, Ashley can't walk for more than 5 minutes, so she can no longer do the grocery shopping, instead waiting in the car. She also doesn't like to go out in public as she's afraid people will stare at her, but even hiding in the car doesn't stop this, as a random person comes over to Ashley.
But you know, I'm gonna pray for you. You can make it. God bless you.
I just hate being stared at. To me, it's the same as if a person doesn't have any legs. You don't stare at somebody. I mean, you just don't do that.
This man clearly meant well, but it's definitely weird the way that he came up to her anyway. She's clearly suffering as she is very emotional throughout this episode and even seems to suffer from anxiety and depression. Her husband, Jacob, is really supportive of her too, claiming that the weight itself doesn't bother him, it's just the side effects that Ashley suffers that do, like the depression and lack of mobility. Jacob will also go to whatever lengths Ashley wants to make her happy, the most damaging of which is through food.
Jacob knows if I'm upset, he needs to get me something to eat quickly. If I'm hurting, I want to turn to something that's going to make me feel better, and I know it's food.
Let me get the 20 tenders, the meal, and rolls instead of biscuits. Thank you.
It's a comfort. It's been a comfort ever since I was young. When you're eating, it's like nothing else matters. Food doesn't judge. It's the only thing that comforts me.
Ashley and Jacob clearly have some very self-destructive habits when it comes to food and desperately need to turn their lives around for their son, Patrick. The trip to Houston to see Dr. Now is monumental to them, especially for Ashley, as it's an opportunity for her to completely turn her life around.
Excited for today?
Yes and no. I haven't weighed myself in over a year and a half, so I'm nervous to see the number on the scale, and I'm anxious to see what he's gonna say.
Arriving at Dr. Now's office in Houston, Ashley gets a sharp wake-up call when she realises she actually weighs 725 pounds, over 50 pounds more than what she initially thought, and as you'd expect, she's completely devastated.
Just give me a minute. To see 725 on the scale was a smack in my face. I just hope the doctor doesn't turn me away.
Her drastic weight gain shows just how much she was trying to ignore her addiction. She's been trying to act like her excessive eating wouldn't have an impact on her, but while she may be able to lie to herself, the scales can't lie. When discussing the situation with Dr. Now, he hits some home truths that are difficult for both Ashley and Jacob to hear.
You're an enabler and he is overweight, so he's not making good choices on his own to even help you. So you need to understand that you are in a dangerous situation. At your weight, every part of your body is under strain just to function. And at this point, you're not going to make it much beyond 30. You both have to change down because you don't have any time left.
Dr. Now tries to relay the seriousness of Ashley's situation, telling her that if she continues without losing any weight, it's very likely that she will not live past 30. That's a heartbreaking realization for Ashley, considering that she has a 5-year-old son to look after, which hopefully means that she will stick to the diet that Dr. Now gives her and will lose 50 pounds in 1 month. Ashley and Jacob move closer to Houston to continue the weight loss and be closer to Dr. Now. In the time she's been given to lose the weight, Ashley believes that she's made good progress, but due to the move, she's had to eat fast food a lot of the time without having a kitchen, and she's anxious this will have affected her weight. But despite her worries, she is successful and loses 58 pounds, an additional 8 pounds more than what Dr. Now asked her to do. It's genuinely unusual seeing a star on the show being successful straight away, as it typically takes them a few months to start losing weight and actually give it a real go. But Ashley seems different, and she's entirely motivated by her son, as we actually see Dr. Now smile, which is definitely a rare occurrence on the show.
Go ahead at this point and approve you for weight loss surgery. How does that sound to you?
Good.
You excited? All right, we'll get you fixed up.
Sounds great. Thank you, Dr. Desjardins.
You're welcome.
A week later, Ashley is booked in for weight loss surgery. The type of surgery that Dr. Now will perform is known as a gastric bypass surgery, and it essentially works by stapling the upper part of the stomach to create a small pouch that can only hold a very small amount of food. This new pouch is connected directly to the small intestine and bypasses the rest of the stomach completely. After the surgery, food bypasses the larger stomach and goes directly into the small intestine, leading to reduced food intake and a decrease in calorie absorption.
Gastric bypass on Ashley. But this is going to be a very high-risk surgical procedure because she's extremely obese and we have to be very careful with her and make sure nothing we do today pushes her body over the limit during the surgery. It's going to be tight.
Any surgery has its risks, but for Ashley, she runs into major complications, as Dr. Now finds a massive hernia in her stomach, making the surgery incredibly difficult. Luckily, he manages to access her stomach through a different angle, completing the surgery successfully.
He had to do everything differently, but overall everything went very well. Ashley has a lot to recover from over the next few days, but surgery will be a big help for her in the short term, as long as she's able to address the dynamic at home down the road. But we need to keep an eye on her.
Several weeks later, Ashley continues her weight loss journey at home, still recovering from surgery, where she's lost another 30 pounds since her operation. At home, we see Ashley doing the laundry, a much needed change from the beginning of this video, where she made her 5-year-old son Patrick do it all for her.
It's my surgery, and there's been a lot of changes in our lives. It's been hard recovering, but I was so glad I was able to get the bypass and make the progress that I have. And I'm able to start doing more around the house, so Patrick can just focus on starting school and just being a kid. Pat, you ready to get up?
Ashley has clearly changed her life around, and it's refreshing to see so early into her journey. Patrick is able to be a kid again, not having to do the chores he had to do because of Ashley's weight, and her progress continues at home as she loses another 20 pounds as the weeks go by. Her progress is fantastic, and she's clearly committed to the program, something we don't often see with stars on the show. Ashley even makes some more monumental steps, challenging herself to do things that really make her anxious, like going inside the supermarket, something she hasn't done for over 2 years.
I've been pushing myself to do more. Right now, I'm trying to go to the grocery store for the first time in 2 years. But I'm a little scared being in there around all that food. I've been making healthy choices, and it's getting tougher. I turned to food for all my emotions. Now, that's not an option anymore. So my anxiety levels are through the roof. I get overwhelmed. My heart starts racing, and I feel like I'm getting a panic attack or something. I don't know if I can do this. I just have to have a minute to myself. I'm literally shaking all over. But I'm making myself do this anyway because it's a fear I need to get over. I got this. I can do this.
Even though it's difficult for Ashley, it's important that she's doing it and making progress. Every small attempt she makes at it is a step towards her new life. And the more she does it, the more she'll feel comfortable doing it. But just as things were getting better for Ashley, things take a turn for the worse, as she starts experiencing extreme abdominal pain and vomiting uncontrollably, and she is rushed to hospital. When examining, Dr. now believes that due to Ashley's anxiety and difficulty coping with her new diet, she's been abusing her pain medication and taking way more than recommended dosage. This is incredibly serious, especially as she's had the bypass surgery, and this could cause her significant damage to her stomach, even causing a perforated ulcer. As a result, Ashley is rushed into surgery to try and save her life. During the surgery, Dr. Now's prediction was right, and Ashley does have a perforated ulcer, but this is only the beginning. Because of her size, Dr. Now doesn't have the ability to fix the issue through keyhole surgery and needs to cut to her stomach directly before it becomes worse and kills her. Dr. Now removes the ulcer, but she's far from being out of the woods, as she's in critical condition for the next 72 hours. Once she's stable, she remains in the hospital to recover completely, and Dr. Now refers her to a therapist to discuss her unhealthy habits, like resorting to taking pain medication to cope.
But I'm scared that it's not gonna help. Okay? Thank you. Bye-bye. And I'm gonna have to return to food at some point.
Therapy works well for Ashley, as she is so open about her issues and her mistakes that it's almost easy for her to self-reflect and realise her addiction to food. She continues to make amazing progress at home, as almost a year into the programme she is 200 pounds down, making her 527 pounds, and it's definitely noticeable. She looks a lot thinner than at the start of the episode and has a lot of loose skin from the weight loss.
I've been working hard this past month to walk as much as I can. And I'm able to walk around a little bit at a time without the walker. I've also trying to deal with my emotions when I have them, instead of running from them. It's not easy. Hey, baby.
And it's not just Ashley who has made a change for the better, as her entire family have too.
Jake and my mom about how hard it is to be around the food they eat. They understood a lot more than I thought. And I wish I hadn't waited so long to talk to them about it.
We're trying to incorporate some vegetables into our diet and different things. Vegetables aren't my favorite, but I'm trying to incorporate them in there because Ashley's worked so hard. I love her, and I'm doing this for her.
So a squash, please.
good.
In her final appointment with Dr. Now, Ashley genuinely looks great. She's wearing more normal clothes, has curled her hair nicely, is wearing makeup, and genuinely just looks confident. Not only this, but she's exceeded her weight loss goal and lost in total 255 pounds, which is just an incredible feat.
So you're down to 155 pounds. How does it feel to lose all that weight?
Crazy. It's amazing.
It's been a hard road, but I think overall you're doing very well. Ashley has made great progress, and I'm looking forward to seeing her hit her goal weight in next year or so.
And give back to them instead of them just taking care of me.
Ashley's made a lot of mistakes. She's caused outrage on social media for pretty much abusing Patrick, for making him do so much work around the house. But she's shown huge commitment towards wanting to change her life for the better, and has definitely worked hard towards doing that. After the show, Ashley continued to lose the weight, and honestly looks incredible in photos she's sharing on social media, looking completely unrecognizable. Fans of the show credit Ashley for her hard work too, as the change between the start of the show and after looked like two completely different people, with one Reddit commenter saying, "It's crazy how much the weight distorts their features. I would have never believed that these two were the same people." Ashley has clearly had her struggles in overcoming her food addiction and the guilt it caused her in her personal life, but she's clearly on her way to becoming a better person, especially for Patrick. What do you think about Ashley's journey? Do you think she can be forgiven for how she treated Patrick at the start of the episode? Let me know in the comments below, and make sure you click the video that's on your screen now to see Ashley feature in the worst parents on my £600 life. And I'll see you in the next one.